So I'm here with Connie Voglemann and Elizabeth Hargrave, and we are here to talk about Wyrmspan. All of the learn to plays that I have not been able to play it yet. It definitely looks like it's a little bit more complicated than the game who has a similar name, Wingspan, to it. Why dragons? You've been asked that question a lot, I take it. Why dragons?
It was a common request that we got from Wingspan fans.
I mean, it sounded like when I heard Wyrmspan and I immediately thought of Wingspan, I went, oh, that's brilliant. Did you start with the idea of more like just a reskin and then developed it? Where did the Wyrmspan Wingspan collaboration come into play?
So I had been working with Jamie and with Stonemeyer on Apiary, and meanwhile knew Elizabeth, and we'd been playtesting together and things like that. And Jamie sort of asked, hey, would you be interested in Wingspan with dragons? It was always intended to be kind of a ground-up different design, but one that kind of really appeals to people who like Wingspan and is sort of maybe a next step for a lot of those folks, who are now starting to get into the hobby, figuring out how to find that right balance of how do you make it feel like Wingspan, but different, was probably the single most difficult design challenge.
Well, I feel like one of my main roles as developer was really those actually very interesting conversations about what makes a game feel like Wingspan, what is that sweet spot of feeling like it's in the same family but still a substantially different game.
Was there a moment when you added something to sort of the recipe of it where you went, this is what made it click?
As soon as we made the player mats a lot more similar to the Wingspan player mats, all of a sudden it was like, aha.
Was the length at which you played a game important when you were cultivating Wyrmspan versus Wingspan? It's a more complicated game, but you're we need to keep the gameplay for most people under a certain amount of time. It's a big barrier for some of the people that I bring into games.
I think a lot of it was kind of trying to keep it in that range. It's just, again, a little bit more accessible for folks, and it doesn't only appeal to the incredibly hardcore gamers out there.
There's been a lot of buzz about Wyrmspan. I'm already seeing a lot of people going up and pre-ordering it. So are you guys going to work together again? Are there any expansions already planned or in the works for it? Or?
I've told myself I have to work on the next Wingspan expansion for a while before I'm allowed to start any new projects, because you gotta get it done.
There's an APR expansion that's done right now. I think it's to the printers, so that's gonna be coming out soon.
Oh, it's not out yet.
It's not out yet, but it's been completed, which is really exciting, and I'm excited to keep designing games.
Two fantastic game designers. Thank you guys so much. Check out Apiary, Wingspan, and Wyrmspan. You can order it right now on Labyrinth Games and Puzzle website, and we'll catch you all later.